And now it is time for us to welcome our first guest of the day in a segment we call Dog Mom Biz. Dana Humphrey started behind the scenes in the canine world in PR, which later led to being in front of the camera as a spokesperson, which eventually led to her being known as the pet lady. Dana has spent the past few years getting to know pretty much every new and emerging pet product out there. She's known as an expert in the pet product safety, and she joins us now from New York. Dana, how's your day going?
Hey, my day's going great. I'm here in New York and it's sunny, so we're enjoying summer over here.
There you go. You gotta love it. And I'm glad to hear your day is going well, but guess what? It's about to get even better. We've been so jazzed about talking to you today. And really, here on Dog Mom News Live, we like to start in the beginning. Everyone has a story. So, where did your love for pets come from?
Oh, well, I've always been a pet lover. I mean, ever since I was a little girl. I had my first pet was a pet rat named Bridget the Fidget.
Oh my.
And my sister and I, were very excited to play with her when we were very young. And then eventually, after lots and lots of reading books about dogs and going to the library and convincing my parents that we would get a dog that wouldn't shed, we finally settled on a pug. And contrary to what the books say, pugs shed a lot, but at least that got us convincing my mom that, a dog would be welcome in our house. So when I was about maybe 8 years old, we got Winston, and Winston was a fawn pug, and he was, the love of my life for a very long time. I used to take him on walks all the time, and eventually, I grew up. I moved from Northern California to Southern California to go to San Diego State University, and my parents moved to Thailand. So when they moved to Thailand, our family pug Winston got to move in with me, and so he came down to SoCal with me, and I started working. I graduated from San Diego State University, and I started working at a pet boutique chain called Muttropolis. And it was absolutely perfect because Winston got to come to work with me. I had like the first Jeep stroller for dogs.
Oh, that is so cool. You were convincing as a child, you're convincing now. Metropolis. I'm having a hard time getting over that, Dana. I know that is so awesome. But talk to us about that transition, into from PR and working in PR into the industry, the pet industry. Like, what was that transition like for you?
Well, I was fresh out of college. I had just graduated with a degree in public relations, and Winston was living with me. And so when I got offered a job at Muttropolis, it just seemed like such a perfect fit. And actually back then, the Global Pet Expo was happening in San Diego. So I've been going to Global Pet Expo since 2005, if you can believe it. And eventually Global Pet Expo, which is a huge pet product trade show, eventually outgrew San Diego and moved to Florida to the Orange County Convention Center. So after a couple of years being at Muttropolis, I was doing all of the internal marketing there. And eventually I quit that job, and I had to put Winston to sleep, and I moved to New York City. And that's really where I started the PR firm specializing in the pet industry. And really what happened with that, I moved to New York. I moved to New York in 2008 for a job. And a couple months later, I got laid off from that job. And I made a couple of phone calls. I called Arden Moore, a pet behavior expert. And I said, Arden, I'm going to go full time doing my PR business. If you know anybody. She immediately hired me. She's written over 20 pet books. And so really that's just how my life has been, is working with amazing pet experts like Arden. A few months after that, I started working with Jorge Bendersky, a celebrity dog groomer. I've learned so much from him about grooming your dog, how to take care of your dog, how to notice like little bumps and little things that, could start out small, but eventually lead to big problems with your dog. like ear infections. So I've really been blessed with working with, some of the top experts from the country, from veterinarians to groomers to behavior experts, and all kinds of pet authors. So yeah, that's really, how I got to New York and started doing public relations for pets. And from there, just kind of snowballed into, doing TV segments talking about tips and tricks for pet owners. I was doing a lot of pet fashion shows. We were doing a series of events called Pups on the Runway that was really fun as well. And so we were doing a lot of Halloween pet fashion shows and things like that led into doing pet travel tips and traveling around the whole country, talking to pet owners about how to take better care of their pets. So,
well, I know working in PR and having that in your background, you have to be tenacious, and you also know the power of networking. So when you share your story, it's just so awesome to hear, because a series of hard things happened, but then you turn them into good things. You didn't just sit and say, oh man, what a setback, or even losing Winston. I mean, your buddy, you were able to build on his legacy, keep it going, and then hang tough and make a career of doing what you love. So good for you. Love that story. Love what you're doing today. Talk to us about the pet expos, because I know, that's a big part of what you do. So tell us why being involved in them is so important to you and what you enjoy about them.
Oh, great. I love that question. So yeah, I mean, Global Pet Expo is the biggest pet trade show, I'd say, in the United States, in Florida. And then there's also Super Zoo in Las Vegas on the West Coast. And I love going to the trade shows. It's really a great chance to see everybody. Everyone in the pet industry is really nice. Everyone's super friendly, and they're really passionate about what they do. So that's why I love New York, and that's why I love being in the pet space. People are really passionate. And, it's like so many inventors that see a problem in the pet space, or they have a problem with their own pet, and they see that there's not a product that exists, so they make it. And it's so exciting to learn people's stories and, how they got inspired to make something that can make dogs' lives more comfortable. So I always love that at the new product showcase, whether it's at Global Pet Expo or Super Zoo. And it's fun, I've done everything from having, little golf carts in the show that I decorate with music, making it really fun to get from booth to booth. And also with the trade shows, a friend of mine, her name is Nancy Hassel. She runs the American Pet Association. Her and I saw a need in the marketplace to have a pet trade show in New York. So we actually joined forces, and we had the NYC Retails and Sales Pet Expo for many, many years. It's not running anymore since the pandemic. But we decided to have a little boutique show in New York City for, pet brands and pet retailers to meet. Because New York's a really hard market. It's different than out in Ohio, where people can just get in their car and, bring their wares. Here it's a little bit different with the hustle and bustle of the urban environment. So I love the trade shows. I think it's a really great opportunity for people to meet each other and see in person, what the new toys are, smell the food, really get their hands on it. And I don't know, I love the parties at the pet trade shows as well.
And the best people watching, I mean, we know dog lovers, dog moms, we're interesting characters, and it is so neat. I don't know about you. I mean, you can just keep it real, Dana. Like, you go, oh yeah, that person belongs with that dog. It's just like
totally
right. And so fun. So, typically, Dana, PR people a lot of times are behind the camera. So was that at all uncomfortable for you when you were all of a sudden put in these positions where you're in front of the camera? Obviously, you're gifted, so you should be.
Thank you. Well, it really started at Metropolis. My boss at Metropolis is Janet McCulley. She was amazing, and she really taught me so much. And I had scheduled her a TV segment one morning to talk about different types of dog beds, and like noticing what type of sleeper your dog is. Do they like go in a little ball and they want like a circle bed, or do they like sprawl out and they want more of a rectangle bed? And And so that morning I had, at the time I was driving a Toyota Tacoma, I had a truck, so I had all the dog beds loaded up in the back, and I was getting dressed, and I was getting Winston dressed, and we were on our way out to go meet Janet at the TV studio, and she called me and she said, Dana, there's fires in San Diego, we're getting evacuated right now. Do you think you could do the segment? And I said, okay, yeah, I'll do it. So I drove down there. And, it was an emergency situation. I ended up doing the TV segment. And afterwards, she was like, wow, you really nailed it. Like, I think you should do these from now on. Like, I don't want to wake up early.
You're like, oh no, I did too well. No, you can never do too well. That is so fun. But hey, you are good at it. So, and it led to so many great opportunities. I mean, that flexibility and willingness is key, isn't it?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I jumped right in and I ended up, doing segments ever since. And one day I was at a segment in Sacramento and they have everything there. They have the plant lady, they have the, coffee lady. So they introduced me as the pet lady. And I thought, you know what? I really like that. That works. And so I've trademarked it. And I've been the pet lady ever since. So
that is so fun. You're like, there's a ring to that. All right, I'll do it. I'll be the pet lady. I mean, talk to me about some of your favorite experiences and maybe memories since you've taken on, this important title.
Oh gosh.
Where to start, right? I mean, it's just been so amazing. I mean, even what you say, I mean, in the situations that you've been in and what you've been able to cover. I mean, it's just what a wild and exciting journey it's been.
Well, something else, I guess, that has come about from being the pet lady is now I organize pet parades. So last year I lived in a community in New York called Rockaway, and we have a beautiful boardwalk, and it's a very dog-friendly place out here. And so last year we had the first annual Rockaway Dog Parade, and it was really, really fun. And we had so many judges and so many winners, and the theme was tiki, and people really got into it. And that's what I really love is the creativity. There was like grass skirts and
coconuts.
Exactly.
Oh, all the flames, I'm sure, all kinds of fun to do's. Yes, we can get into it. We like a good theme, don't we?
Yeah. So I love it. I love seeing, dog moms bonding with their pet through, creativity and costumes and outfits. Also, for a long time, I was teaching at FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology. I was teaching two programs there in the pet product marketing department. It was the only pet product marketing department in the world. So it was a really specialized program, and I got to meet so many amazing pet fashion designers that came out of there. I taught Pet Industry 101 and Intro to Pet Product Branding. And so that's been really sweet too, is just getting to know all these up and coming pet fashion designers, making dog pajamas, and I've seen more dog boots than I think any person could ever see.
I believe it. Now, you mentioned the tiki theme last year. So what about the theme this year? I don't want to spoil it. I want you to tell us, but I do know, and it's super cool.
Thank you for asking. So back by popular demand, we have the second annual Rockaway Dog Parade presented by Palacio Pets, a local skincare and dog grooming and pet care location. And the theme is Dogtober Fest.
Dogtoberfest, wunderbar. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Ja.
Oh, nice.
My Austrian heritage. I just had to put it out there. Yeah, that's so great. So great. So tell us what you have planned.
I'm hoping that we see a lot of dogs in lederhosen and, their little suspenders. So it's going to be on Sunday, September 24th at 11 a.m. It gets pretty hot here in the summer, so we wanted to have it in September, kind of like end of summer season, so it's not too hot for the dogs. And basically, dogs can meet up at the hockey rink at Beach 108, and then we'll march down the boardwalk over to Beach 95th, where there's a big amphitheater. And at the amphitheater, we'll have some judges. There's a bunch of prizes. We have thousands of dollars in prizes donated from all different organizations. Really amazing. And it's $5 to be in the parade. And all of the benefits go to ARF ARF, a local dog rescue group. They also are the ones responsible for creating our dog run here that just opened last year. So super excited, very grateful for Palacio Pets for being on board this year. And if you're in the New York City area at the end of September, please come down and join us for Dogtober Fest. It should be a blast.
It's going to be so much fun. So dog moms, mark your calendars. We told you, and we know they won't regret it. And send us some pictures. I can't wait to see it. If even from a distance, I know it's going to be great. Switching gears a little bit, Dana, to something a little more serious. I know you just have such depth of knowledge. You have experience with product safety, and I know you keep your finger to the pulse of, different topics that dog owners care about. So I just want to throw a couple of topics out there and get your feedback and your thoughts. Let's start with CBD products. They've become popular for dogs. What's your take on CBD products?
I'm a big fan of CBD for humans and for dogs. I personally love taking CBD for myself. And the reason I preface it with that is I think sometimes there's a comfort level when people take CBD for themselves and realize there's no psychotropic effects, it doesn't make you altered in any way. It really just kind of calms your system. It's a little bit easier maybe to give it to your dog. And dogs have way more endocannabinoids than us. So it actually more receptors than us. So, it really, I think, works well for dogs and all pets, dogs and cats especially. So I'm a big fan of CBD. I do think it's important to check where it's sourced from. We don't want it to be sourced in China, or at least checking to make sure there's no extra heavy metals in those CBDs, because then you're just adding, you're trying to get rid of a problem, but you could be adding a problem. So just to be careful where it's sourced from. You also want to make sure there's, 0% THC, just to avoid any psychotropic effects. There's a few brands out there that really, care a lot and really are making CBD from a place of love. I believe that's Treatables. They're really the, forerunner in this category, and everyone else from there has really just been a copycat. So Treatables,
we had the privilege of speaking with Juliana Carella, episode 16, and she shared so much helpful information and her story in the business, and just kind of she's passionate about dispelling some of the misconceptions out there about it. So really helpful. And I appreciate you so much sharing about that. When it comes to doggy diets, how do you feel about raw food diets versus kibble? Do you have a particular stand on that?
Yeah, health is like one of those questions where everyone has a different idea about it, right? Some people think keto is healthy. Some people think gluten-free is healthy. There's like so much. Everything in between. Yeah. So, I think it's about finding the right fit for you. I can say that, I do believe health works from the inside out. So food is really, really important, especially if you're having like allergy issues or a lot shedding issues. Is probably could be traced back to the food. So it might be, a good time to try out a different type of formula that is maybe more protein rich or something like that. With Winston, I have to say he got way too much people food. He really was given a lot of people food. Once he moved in with me, he was on a very strict diet of carrots and raw food.
Like, what is going on here? I know, it's shocking.
But
you took your responsibility seriously, Dana. You did. I know. It's
he had to lose a little weight, so he got on a strict diet, and I think it's about finding the perfect balance for you. But I do think raw food can be really helpful for the right pets. Freeze dried can also be a great alternative, or maybe some kind of combination, like wet food and dry food. So then you're at least covering your bases.
Sure.
I think food toppers are really popular. The gravies are a good option these days. If you want to if budgets are concerned, if you want to get like a lower quality kibble and top it with some kind of high quality topper, something like that could work depending on, what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve with your pet and your wallet.
Right. Yes, there you go. Good point. Now, Dana, I know that you're at pet expos, you're kind of rubbing elbows with industry leaders. So do you think there are any other issues or topics that we should have front of mind right now? Anything interesting that you're seeing that you think our Dog Mom News audience needs to know about?
Yeah, I would say like the top 3 trends that I'm noticing right now is in the world of pets is, women-owned companies, products that are made in the USA, and sustainable products. I'd say those are the top 3 things that pet owners are looking for these days. And yeah, it's, sustainability is the name of the game these days. There's a lot of dog products available that are going green. You can look for plant-based products, non-toxic products. I also saw recently, there's a website, wearethecure.org, and they have some great statistics and resources about toxicity in dogs. So just being careful about where you source your toys from, making sure that the toxicity level is low. And so when you purchase sustainable products, often, you're covering your bases there. So definitely shout out to the planet and looking at those products that really give back to the earth.
Love that. So important. So Dana, how can our viewers keep tabs on the exciting things happening with you, the Pet Lady?
Well, you could definitely find me on social media or check out the website. It's thepetlady.net and everything's on there. I'm pretty available, so send me a note. If you want to come to the dog parade, I'd be happy to send you the link, and I'd love to stay in touch.
Oh, awesome. Dana Humphrey, you are amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Karina. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome and informative Dog Mom News content. And while you're at it, ring the bell so that you can find out about more content in real time. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everyone.